Oasis Audio presents Unshakeable by John Eckhardt, read for you by the author. Chapter 1. Satan's master plan to destroy the human race. This is double-mindedness. The thief does not come except to steal and kill and destroy. John chapter 10, verse 10. In 1886, Scottish author Robert Louis Stevenson wrote the best-selling novella, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The story is about the abnormal behavior Gabriel John Utterson, a London lawyer, observes in his old friend, Dr. Henry Jekyll, and Jekyll's alter ego, Edward Hyde. According to one source, the work is commonly associated with the rare mental condition often spuriously called split personality, wherein within the same person there are at least two distinct personalities. In this case, the two personalities in Dr. Jekyll are apparently good and evil, with completely opposite levels of morality. This story had such an impact on our culture and language that when we see people act one way 1 minute and switch to something completely different, we sometimes say they are like Jekyll and Hyde. What Stevenson wrote was fiction, but it amplifies the problem of a dual personality. It has even become a part of the language. Of course, most people don't come to the level of psychosomatic dysfunction as Jekyll Hyde, but life often imitates art in some way. In this case, the spirit of double-mindedness mentioned in the Bible is how we see a likeness of Jekyll and Hyde in the life of a believer. Double-mindedness is a real problem in our society from which Jesus can heal and deliver. Double-mindedness is connected to the psychotic disorder called schizophrenia, where a person's mind and personality become so fragmented and tormented with delusions and instability that eventually he or she becomes unable to function in society. Schizophrenia sometimes means split personality or split mind. Schizo is a Greek word that means to rend, tear violently, open or unfold. Severe schizophrenia is treated by psychiatry with drugs. As history shows, even shock treatment has been used to treat hallucinations and delusion, mental illness, and insanity. There are different degrees of schizophrenia, and most degrees do not require hospitalization. Although there are many psychiatric and medical definitions of schizophrenia, I'm giving the biblical definition based on James chapter 1, verse 8. I use the term double-mindedness because schizophrenia is interpreted by many to be a severe mental illness, and most would not even entertain the idea that they may be schizophrenic. Psychiatry uses the phrase an alter ego, which in Latin means the other I, defined as a second self, a second personality or persons within a person who is often oblivious to the persona's actions. This phrase was coined in the early 19th century when dissociative identity disorder was first described by psychologists. A person with an alter ego is said to lead a double life. Multiple distinct personalities are called alters. I believe what psychiatry calls alters are nothing more than demons. Remember, demons have personalities. Dr. Pat Holliday says, double-mindedness has a psychological, spiritual, emotional, and cognitive impact upon the mind. Psychiatrists and psychologists see it as a mental disorder. Deliverance ministers see it as a spiritual disorder to be resolved through deliverance. The Bible agrees that a person that has a split mind is mentally ill. James chapter 1, verse 8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. The majority of double-minded people manage to function in life and have some successes, yet they still have the characteristics of a spirit of schizophrenia. This causes them to be constantly unstable in every area, never having any peace about who they are or what they can or have to accomplish. They may not always go to a place of insanity that the world describes as schizophrenia. The revelation of double-mindedness and schizophrenia came to the forefront through the ministry of Frank and Ida Mae Hammond, pioneers in the area of deliverance and authors of the classic book on deliverance, Pigs in the Parlor. I had the honor of ministering with Frank Hammond and found him to be a humble and gracious servant of the Lord. Before Frank passed away, I asked him to lay hands on me and impart. I believe I received an impartation and a passion to teach on the subject and see people set free. The diabolical nature of double-mindedness. So who has a problem with double-mindedness? How many people are affected? Frank and Ida Mae Hammond saw double-mindedness as Satan's master plan to destroy the human race. They experienced that almost every person who comes to us for deliverance is found to have varying degrees of the network of demon spirits which cause schizophrenia. Ida Mae says that schizophrenia, or double-mindedness, is a disturbance, distortion, or disintegration of the development of the personality. Some will teach that Christians cannot have a spirit of schizophrenia. But please know that when James said that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, he was speaking to the saints. James chapter 1, verse 8. From Barnes' Notes on the Bible. A double-minded man, the word here used is the Greek word dipsukos, and occurs only here, James chapter 1, verse 8, and in James chapter 4, verse 8. It means properly one who has two souls, then one who is wavering or inconstant. It is applicable to a man who has no settled principles, who is controlled by passion, who is influenced by popular feeling, who is now inclined to one opinion or course of conduct and now to another. A person in this condition is always wavering, irresolute, doubting, changing, and inconsistent. Synonyms for double-minded include indecisive, inconsistent, unpredictable, erratic, hesitating, vacillating, wavering, procrastinating, questioning, doubting, lingering, delaying, not firmly placed, unsteady, lacking emotional control, and the like. The double-minded man has problems making decisions and sticking with them. Due to his instability, he is always changing his mind concerning relationships, careers, ministries, and churches. Gill's exposition of the entire Bible says it like this: a double-minded man, a man of two souls, or of a double heart, that speaks and asks with an heart, and in heart, as in Psalm 12, verse 2, who halts between two opinions, and is at an uncertainty what to do or say, and is undetermined what to ask for, or who is not sincere and upright in his requests, who asks for one thing and means another, and asks amiss, and with an ill design, does not call upon God in truth, and in the sincerity of his soul, draws nigh to him with his mouth, and honors him with his lips, but his heart is far from him. Such an one is unstable in all his ways. He is confused in his mind, restless in his thoughts, unsettled in his designs and intentions, inconstant in his petitions, uncertain in his notions and opinion of things, and very variable in his actions, and especially in matters of religion. He is always changing, and never at a point, but at a continual uncertainty, both in a way of thinking and doing. He never continues long either in an opinion or in a practice, but is ever shifting and moving. Double-mindedness is the polar opposite of stability, which means not likely to change or fail, firmly established, not easily moved, disturbed, or thrown off balance, firm, steady, not likely to break down, fall apart, or give way, not volatile or varying infrequently within a narrow range, not subject to mental illness or irrationality, fixed and firmly established. How many can say that they fit this description in their personality and makeup?